Hey everybody, Rayne here. Just hit record. Wanted to share with you a sort of demonstration or breakdown of The War Within, which, if you haven't heard, you should go here right now. It is in the description. I'll play the full song at the end of the video. For now, I just wanted to kind of go through the parts and kind of like explain what I did, not in any sort of like professional manner, but just to kind of demonstrate my thought processes, what I'm thinking when I'm writing what parts, demonstrate how disorganized I am, as you can tell by the lack of naming convention and color scheme. uh, Most of you probably haven't even heard my voice or probably didn't know I could talk, but I can. And this is what I sound like. So without further ado, I'll kind of play. I'll play the beginning of the song and kind of break down what was my thought process, kind of how I made it, and here you go. So that was just to demonstrate what the track sounds like. Um, like I said, you can listen to the full track in the description or wait till the end of the video, and I will play the track from start to finish. Uh, there's this beginning part, okay, and it sort of builds up. It kind of comes in. It has some marching and some like military noises. So the first thing is this stuff right here. This stuff is actually. Here, I'll kind of show you if I can. Where is that's here it is right here. So these two are muted because I wanted to do away with them, and they are. Machine gun noises, and as you can probably tell, like a theme of the track is like war. You know what you're at war with yourself over, or that sort of thing. Well, I got rid of the machine gun noises, and I'll tell you why. Here, I forgot to unmute everything. It just it just seemed like overkill to me, and I didn't really like the sound of it. I wanted to get some better sounds. Most of the samples in this, except for the drums, I got from freesound.org, I believe, which is a great place to just get free samples that you can like mess with, pretty much. And that's where I get a lot of like obscure stuff when I use samples, which isn't really that often, but So that's what this stuff is, and the reason it's not deleted, well, not removed from the playlist, is because I was really debating with myself on whether to keep or remove them. It seems like such a small thing, but it's really the fine details that I like to, I guess, just be particular about. um, I'd like to get learn some kind of way to make them a little bit more realistic, as far as like, uh, I guess their perceived distance from the listener. Because if you listen to it, it's kind of just here. It's kind of just left and right. It's like, which I guess sort of works, but I really wanted it to sound like it was like coming from all around, and I don't know. I just didn't think it was necessary, and I think the plain noises added more atmosphere to it, which brings me to my next thing, which is the plane noises. Well, that's a helicopter, but then a plane comes in as the bass comes in right here. Oh, there's another one. And again, it fits with the theme of war, fighting, inner conflict, that sort of thing. As cheesy as it sounds to say in real life. Uh, then I've got the marching here, and that is a free sample I got from freesound.org. It's actually much longer, but the thing about it is, the marching is out of sync with the beat, which was a problem for me. Because even though it sounds natural, I needed it to be, on time. Otherwise, it doesn't fit with the bass drum. Like, where is it? I think it's right here. So I basically, I don't know what word you'd use. I lined them up myself. I guess you'd call it quantizing, but not really. I basically just cut and sliced them to make it on beat, which took a little bit of time, but wasn't so bad. So speaking of bass, though, here is the bass line right here. Don't steal my bass line. It's like my favorite part. What? Where is that coming from? So what? I have the parametric EQ. I have the parametric EQ as a filter instead. I could have just used Fruity Love filter like I do with a lot of things, but I really like the. I don't know. I just didn't on this one. Okay. So. I really love this bass line. I really love how aggressive I got the sound, but I also really like how, patting myself on the back here, I really like how it sounds like a guitar tapping or something. It just sounds like even though the song's not terribly fast, it just sounds sort of kind of like a fast guitar thing. Well, I guess it's sort of like a guitarist tapping out an aggressive guitar riff, but a little bit slower and on massive instead. I'll show you the synth here. I call it Afterglow Bass, is what I named it. So let me make sure I'm in the lowest octave. And you see, like, it's got like a really big, sort of ominous but in your face sound. And I got it that way because I messed around with OTT quite a bit. So let's play the bass line without any of the effects. Look how tiny it is. Look how tiny it is. It's so small. It's just a little pluck. It's got no effects on it. Not in massive. So you can see you've got oscillator 1 on the this thing, and you've got oscillator 2 on this thing, and they're pitched apart. I'm going to be honest, I did not come up with this full preset myself, this full patch. I got it from a preset called Afterglow, which is why it's called Afterglow Bass. And it sounds like this. I'll show you. It's a little bit loud. And I don't know where for the life of me I got this preset, but I got it from somewhere. So if you listen to any of my tracks, you're probably hearing it somewhere. It could be a lead, it could be used as a pad, it could be a plucky bass, and you don't even know it. It's all over the place. It is one of my favorite presets. I wish I made it, but I didn't. But the really cool thing about this is I took the envelope and I'm able to actually tweak it. So I have this map to the sustain level on the... Stop playing. I have this map to the sustain level on the fourth envelope, which controls the amp. It's the amp envelope. So, yeah, that's pretty neat. But then you start adding all this junk. So I'm going to add OTT, and you kind of get to see what it's actually doing. Now, I don't believe I messed with this too much. I'm pretty sure I messed with the time a little bit, and I messed with the highs a little bit, and obviously I turned the down all the way up. I just really mess with this until it sounds good. Sometimes it's hard to get the sound I want out of OTT, and I end up just going to the Fruity multiband compressor. But OTT does a really good job at getting these, like, it's really aggressive, and that's why I like it. Not the sound itself aggressive, necessarily, but it's really aggressive when you're messing with the frequencies and stuff, like you get all these weird sounds out of it just from the start, or like something like that, whatever. I don't remember where I had that, but I don't think that matters. Not right now. We'll find out. I've got some parametric EQ on this, just boosting the bass a tad. You're like, oh, why couldn't you have just done this in OTT? Well, I explained that, and that's because OTT is weird, and I like using the parametric EQ because I can see everything. So before, after, you can hear the difference. Look how broad the sound is. It's a really big sound. Then I did everybody a favor and I added Fruity Blood Overdrive to make it really gritty and in your face. I love Fruity Blood Overdrive. It's one of my favorite plugins. I use it whenever I need something like really aggressive, really fast. So let's turn that on. Whoa! It's really big. It's a really big sound. It's almost too big. So I've got the Fruity Parametric EQ, a second one, just as a filter, and I left that on there. So kind of hear the resonance from this little peak come in and out. So is that awesome or what? Then I've got the Fruity Limiter, which is limiting it to some degree. Well, I mean, that's what it does. It's a limiter, but I'm saying this purple stuff, if you don't know about the Fruity Limiter, that's what's going above the limit, and then this is where it's actually being heard right now. So you can hear. You can hear it get a tad quieter when I put the limiter on because it's limiting it. I've got the kick here. That's not the one that's mapped to it. I have a ghost kick. So basically, this is side-chained to the bass. And let me see if I can find an example here. I'll put this right here. There. Cymbal crash, okay. Okay, so yes, I have a ghost kick, and I call it the ghost kick because you don't actually hear this. This is not what's being heard. So, for instance, I'm going to turn this down here. I'm going to turn this off. Actually, I'm confusing myself. I don't know why I have two kicks labeled here, but I made this a while ago. Okay, chill. So, if I mute this kick, you'll still hear it ducking. See? And that's what the ghost kick does. It's just there to sidechain. That's all it does. So if you were to hear this, it would be really loud because I have a sample map to it. So where's track 14 here? I have this, and you can't hear it, but let me... We'll put it on the master for just a second. It's a Lin kick. So I have that on track 14, which is the ghost kick. I have the Fruity Parametric EQ2, just boosting the high. And I have Soundcloud. Yes, I use Soundcloud. I used to use it a lot. I stopped using it, but it's in my ghost kick preset because I don't hear it. All I need is for this to be on and then sidechain to the bass. That's really all I need. I don't need it to sound particularly good. It's just a signal. I'm using the information from the kick to sidechain here. I'm not using the sound of the kick, if that makes sense. You could see here on the dial, there's no sound coming through. It's just taking the signal from that. See, it's just taking the information from this one. It's not actually playing it. So that's one trick I use all the time. And then I compress the hell out of it. Well, I guess not the hell, but I just used a preset. So this preset is in my preset list here. So when I go to best ghost kick, I think it is, I used here, this compressor preset is in the channel preset. And so that's this just comes with it. And again, I just use it because you'll see like everything else is low. Like, look at this. It's like around negative 21 decibels. But this is at 0. Because again, I don't need it to be heard. It's just there to sidechain everything else. So we've got that. I feel like I spent a lot of time on that. Maybe too much than I should have. This right here. This is another bass, as you can hear. And this one, I believe the love filter is not automated. I can double check on that. Let me see. Slot 10, is this... That's not it. Where is it here? No, okay. I was just double checking. Because I couldn't remember if this was automated or not. So I couldn't tell if it was sweeping up and down. Yeah, I should have sweeped it. That would have sounded really cool. And then this one, since it's a bass sound as well, is also sidechained, just like the regular bass is the one that's actually kind of arpeggiating. So you can hear it right there. It starts in the beginning right here. Wham bam. Got this ARP here. Let me play that for you. This is one of my favorite synths, and it comes stock with FL Studio, and if I recall correctly, you can only use it in FL Studio. It's an image line exclusive or something, whatever you want to call it. This is a preset, I believe it's in Xeno Soundworks, called... I knew the name, it was just up here, and I totally lost it. Whatever. Where is it? It's called Zoland. Like Roland with an X. Default. Oh, here it is. So. So you can hear it, it's got this really, it's got a lot of resonance in the filter. And I just think that sounds great. I am going to reload the project because I just messed up the preset, but I'll be right back. Okay, so I loaded the project back up because I messed with the preset. So we're back in. Where were we? We were at this ARP pattern here, if I recall correctly. And I did make some tweaks. I can't remember for the life of me what the tweaks are, but... And if you look at the mixer channel here, I've got Love Filter on, and I don't believe that it's not automated, because if you hear... It's right up front. It's right up front the whole time. Nothing to hide. I don't even know why I have Love Filter on there. It's just there, and that's where it remains. I don't remember if it fades in later in the song when Sam is singing. Whatever the case is, it's side-chained, and it is compressed. It's side-chained lightly in the way that it doesn't duck as deep as the bass does, but it does have a tight threshold on it. So let's see. And I just dicked with this. I just messed with it until it sounded good. So, because sometimes that's what you do. You tell me if it sounds bad. Let's see. So, what do we have next? We have this pattern right here. ARP Max Pain. I love this preset. I don't use it enough, and I should, but it works perfectly here. And the reason why it's Max Pain with the P-A-Y-N-E is because Chris, the one half of Neutron Dreams, and also you might know him as Pyramid of Chaos, that's his name. So I was sending ideas to Chris about possible collab at some point. No news yet. Not just yet. We're going to do something at some point. But I was writing some trance stuff, so I named it Max Pain because I created it for that. You see on this one, I've got a compressor, and I have a filter that is just turned off because I didn't use it. I know it's taking up needless CPU, but again, I just messed with this until it sounded kind of right to me. It doesn't need to be terribly loud. As you can hear, it's kind of just sitting in the back, sort of. Alrighty, so you can hear it's just kind of highlighting a few notes. It's just kind of hanging back there to add some sort of atmosphere while the vocals are going. You don't want too much going on while the vocals are going, because then you won't be able to hear anything. Need I say more? That's a great point to bring up, is the vocals. So, the vocals here. These are mine. I have never done vocals before. This is my first time. I did have to edit them a little bit, but I didn't have to do anything too crazy to them, I don't think. Doing sort of a metal scream, which I had only done in the car while I'm driving up until this track. So I figured I'd give it a whirl and see what's up. You can tell I've got quite a few effects on it, but let's disable these, and I will mute the track. Or, sorry, mute the rest.
Born to live, left to rot.
Yep, so you can hear that that's my voice. I'm screaming like, "Whoa, whoa, born to live, left to rot." You know, blah, blah, blah. It's nothing tremendous. I don't have a mic to record vocals with, really. So actually, the mic that I'm recording this on is like a $50 mic I got from Amazon years ago. And so I just kind of make do with this until I can buy a much better mic. But, part of being a musician or a producer is just doing what you have. So that's what I'm doing. I can't afford everything in the world. So on this, I have a little bit of EQ, just putting the high end way up. It's really aggressive, but I also have it compressed, so it's not gonna like shoot off the what's it called? Not shoot off the chart. It's not gonna go like too high.
Born to live, left to rot.
Yeah. So it sounds like a crap sample, but in the mix, I think it sounds pretty good when it's EQ'd that aggressively. But you put the compressor on it.
Born to live, left to rot.
And I think that sounds pretty good, honestly. Especially where in the mix, there's so much low end to this song. Having that sort of mid-high makes sense, I think. And that's how I sort of did it. I've got a patcher preset here. And I've got... I wanted to save space up here because I already have so many effects. I have Vocodex, so I'll show you what this sounds like.
Born to live, left to rot.
Yep, so I have Vocodex, and I have a preset, I believe it is the... That's right, I'm using a preset. It is backing voices, I believe. So I have this behind my voice, and then I've got the stereo enhancer panning those to either side. A lot of times I use the preset 4 strings. I do mess with this quite a bit sometimes, but the presets are always a good starting point. And people say don't use presets. Use what sounds good. Use what sounds good, but try and know what you're doing. And with this, I do know what I'm doing. It just sounded good, so I used the preset. I don't have to defend myself, so...
Born to live, left to rot.
Then what I have is another compressor here because I wanted to compress my voice with the backing vocals. So we've got this.
Born to live, left to rot. Born to live, left to rot.
Bam, bam. This is a glitch effect that comes in later.
Born to live, left to rot. Born to live, left to rot.
You see right there it stutters.
Born to live, left to rot.
I'm not doing it right. Hold on.
Born to live, left to rot.
I'm having the hardest time showing you what it actually does. But this is glitch 2, and basically you've got things like you can stretch samples. Not samples, whatever audio is being inputted. So samples, instruments, whatever you want. I have the gator here to stutter. It comes in at one point during the song. If you listen to it, I'm sure you'll hear it. And then I have a limiter, just so things don't get too hectic here. Let's undo all this crazy stuff I just did. Okay. So, those are the vocals. Nothing really tremendous, but that was my first time. I do not record professionally or anything like that. I do write the tracks, but a lot of times it helps to have vocalists that know how to record. Like Sam. Sam is great. He knows how to do all kinds of vocal recording techniques, all kinds of things, as you'll come to see here in a little bit. I don't have the need to record, so it's something I still have to learn about a little bit. So I look forward to doing that some more, and especially if I continue to do tracks like these, I'd like to invest in a better audio interface and a better microphone, and just kind of learn what works a little bit better than that. But I think for this particular one, it's not too shabby. Got a little call and response with the vocals here, so as you can see, so you've got a call and response here. You've got vocals for 2 measures, then you've got the synths that highlight, you've got the synths that come in when they're not singing, hit it, quit it, hit it, quit it, hit it, quit it, hit it, quit it. Then you come back here, and the vocals are, this is me really going at it in the climax. Because you can see there's no hit it and quit it. They do quit it, but the vocals don't. The vocals don't quit it. None of that makes sense. Basically, the synths are doing a similar thing where they're playing. Where is it? So some of the synths are still not there for the first 2 measures, and then they come in for 2 measures and they're not there. But the vocals are going. So you can kind of see that. The vocals keep going, even though the synths are doing that call and response thing, more or less. And they do that all the way through the outro. Something I want to point out is Sam's vocals, which are really what I think anytime he sings for one of our songs, he just kills it. And it really makes the track for me. So I'll show you the bridge now. Well, not the bridge. This is what I would call the chorus. So you can see, like, it goes really aggressive and hardcore, and then it just goes ethereal. It's still aggressive, but I think the word is somber. It gets a little more somber here. And he adds a really ethereal touch to it. So these vocals, what track is this? 33. Got track 33. By the shore, call the home. So we've got a. By the shore, so that's kind of a high part. Then you've got this one. By the shore, which is still high, but not as high. And you've got this one. So you've kind of got low, medium, high as far as the pitch goes. Man, it sounds so good. Let's just take a moment and appreciate Sam's work, okay? Really. Oh, by the shore,
call the whole world to you. Oh, tie me down, let me go, dare I say.
That in and of itself could just be a song, right there. Like, that's beautiful, and it really made the track. And I'm so thankful he was going to do vocals on that. He does a great job, any and all times. Oh, you've got this vocal sample here, which is pretty cool. I'll get into the processing for this in just a second here. Where is this one? This one, it's right there, I thought. 28. Yep, that's 28. Oh, it's over here. Alrighty, so that's a really cool sample right there. This guy right here. I don't know why the delay is turned off here. When it's over here, I don't know the point in routing it there. There might be something else I routed there later. I don't remember at the moment, but I could have just turned it on here. Like I said, I'm disorganized, so I don't know why it's like that, but it is. And it's taking up CPU probably, but it doesn't matter because it's all done now. So the vocal processing. So if we want to go to this one, that's not it. What am I thinking? Here it is. Let's start from the beginning. So right here I've got an EQ and I've got the mids boosted, I've got the highs ducked and the lows. I think since I wrote this I've gotten a little bit better at processing the vocals. I've worked with different singers by this point. I've worked with a few different ones. And I've gotten a better handling on how to DS, how to basically just EQ better and that sort of thing. But for this one, I had the mids pretty high. Oh, by the shore, which is weird, because I think this sounds way better than it should. It looks so not concise, I guess. But it works, so whatever. I've got this, some light well, not really, it's just gain. I just added gain to it. That's all I do. Sometimes it's what I use 3D compressor for, it's just gain. Sometimes. It's got a delay on it. Oh, by the shore. Ping pong delay, which I always like. This is a plugin called Abstract Chamber, which is one of my favorite reverb plugins. Problem is it crashes the DAW sometimes for unknown reasons. Usually if you're loading it in the middle of a project, like after you've added a bunch of stuff, I don't really notice I'm not sure there's a pattern to it. It just, that's what it does sometimes. If I'm loading it into like something empty that doesn't have, or something that doesn't have too much in it, it's really not a big deal. But this sounds huge, like. I don't remember if this comes in later. It can get really big. It has a few presets that are really cool. Like long distance is really great, but I'll save that for another day or another video. I don't know if this comes in later, but we also have a limiter here. It's just there to make sure things don't get too loud. I guess I could, if I was really concerned, I guess I could just turn the gain down a little bit, but whatever. I thought it sounded all right. Oh, by the shore, call the whole. It's really not even limiting it. I don't remember what my thought process was with this, honestly. Sometimes it's how it is. Sometimes you just do stuff and don't remember why. This doesn't really need to limit anything, I don't think. But it's there. So maybe it's just there to be pretty. But the gain, I was thinking like the gain brings it up to the volume that I need it to be. So I really, if I, like I just said, I could just turn the gain down. So I don't know why the limiter's there, but it's there. It's not sidechained to anything. See, it's not sidechained or anything. So there's that. And these are all done pretty similarly. Let's see, like this one has some reverb on it.
Oh, by the shore.
So that's nice. I don't know why this is limited. Couldn't tell you. I don't know a lot of things about what I do. Let's see. The EQ is a little less aggressive for this one. And I think it's because I didn't feel like I needed to DS this one. Like the that stuff. I didn't really need to DS this one very much, I don't think. And I didn't have to do it at all. That's why it's like this. And I just boosted the mid highs just a little bit. Oh, and of course cut the bass. Almost every time I'm recording vocals, I usually cut right around here because it usually just interferes too much, but it's on a case-by-case basis. Okay, so that's the vocal processing. I'm sure I could elaborate and go into super detail on some of the things that I've talked about, but it's hard to tell what you want to know until after I get some comments. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll try and respond about anything I have, like production, anything like that. Like, why did you do this? Why? Like, oh, if you had a question like, why is there a limiter? I could tell you straight up. I don't know. Let's see. So we've got this chorus part. I'm sorry. Yeah, this chorus part. I used the right word. And then you come over here and you got the bridge. Da, 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 da. Fade out. Fade out. Well, there you have it. There's kind of a brief overview of the track. Some things that I really wanted to like talk about was this synth, which is called Dark Heaven. It's citrus. Some people call it citrus. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be citrus. you know, because there's a big fat lemon on it, or there used to be. But whoa, I'm really low. Yeah, that's right. I'm typing on my keyboard. So it's just this really ethereal pad sound. It is a preset as well. Somewhere around here. It's probably here. Dark Heaven. Very good. There it is right there. So that sounded really cool. It sounded, despite it being called Dark Heaven, it sounded really bright to me. And I thought it was just a really nice contrast compared to the rest of the track where everything's pretty low and bassy. This one, if you listen to it, it pans sort of left and right on its own. It's got this really complex sweep to it. It's got a lot of high, which is really cool because, like, there's like no bass here for a little while, and then when the bass comes in, you've got really low and really high, which if you didn't know, I really like in a lot of the music I listen to, as well as the music that I like to write. I like really low and I like really high as well sometimes. So that brings me to another thing. Speaking of really low, is I've got this synth again, and I'm sure you remember from just a little bit ago. Now, something I failed to explain before is that I'm using this basically as a sub bass. It does have some high end. Where is it? It does have some high end, but you can see it's filtered down, like I showed you before. It has a lot of low end already. So I'm using this as a sub bass, and this is kind of just accenting what's going on above. It's just kind of like, I don't know, solidifying what's above. So the other synth can have a little bit of movement as it goes up and down the octaves, and this one just stays low to reinforce that, I think is the right word. Then you've got this little part right here, which both synths do here. And that's there because there's no drums in this section. It's supposed to be ethereal. It's supposed to build up. It's supposed to start ethereal and then come back in to be aggressive and then build up and then drop. That's right, drop. I said the word drop. It's going to drop and go back into the verse where the vocals come back in as hard as they can. So that's its purpose there. It's used as a fill and to bridge. I mean, you could just put it from the end of the progression back to the beginning, or from this part of the progression to this part without the fill, and that would probably work, but it doesn't have much finesse to it. It doesn't, for me, it didn't move enough. It didn't, it just wasn't enough to let it move from G to A sharp to C and all that stuff. It needed some sort of like a fill, and this is sort of a fill, but it uses the synth as a fill instead of drums or any other percussive thing. So I think I really liked adding this. I think it really made a difference in the track for me personally when I was writing it. It would just be boring if it went from this to this to this and then, you know, back again. So I really enjoyed writing that part. You've got the synths, of course, in the bridge. The synths. What am I saying? You've got Poison, which I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I really, really like Poison. It's one of my favorite synths. It's so small, and it looks like it only has a few dials, but it has such a fat sound. It's just a big little boy right here. And I love using it. I always get a good sound when I'm using it. Really cool for big, fat bass lines. You know, big, fast. Yeah, big fat bass sounds that you write bass lines with. So you can see as the strings come in and become the high part, this goes down an octave, whereas before it was... where is it? Oh, where was it here? It was around here somewhere. Here it is. See, that's really high, and then when the bridge comes, since the pads take over the high part, these kind of are still there to reinforce that, to kind of reincorporate it, I guess. But they're just an octave down to settle in the back because I wanted the pads to shine so they don't conflict with each other. Of course, this would be the bass filter, the parametric EQ on slot 8. Slot 8 should be the bass. No, it's not the bass. What is this? Weird. It says it's in slot 8. I guess I just left that there. Again, I'm not very organized. Because there's no parametric EQ on slot 8, so I guess that one's just empty and I just left it there. I guess you could say I'm a tad bit lazy too. But the bass does sweep in, I believe. Oh no, I know what I did. I guess this was in a synth here, and then I reassigned it to the bass. There it is, look. No. I'm doing the wrong one. Here. Right here. See, so it is going to a parametric EQ. I just repurposed it. So that's why that's there. I guess I'm not as bad as I thought. I reassigned it to that channel, it looks like. I probably had something sweeping in, and then I decided to 86 it, so... yeah, I think that covers most of it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I've never done a video like this, just kind of breaking down one of the tracks. I'm sure I'm leaving something out, but like I said, I'd be happy to answer any questions in the comments. I hope to write some more aggressive stuff like this. I really liked doing the screaming parts. I'd like to invest in a better mic, but sometimes your budget can't hold back your creativity. You just gotta like do it with what you have. So I'll probably end up doing that before I get a better mic. I'll go ahead and play the track in full, and I'll see you next time.